At first, I thought it was just me, that in my haste to make a difference, in my desire to change the world, I had become a caricature of protest. So I toned down my indignation, did some historical research so I could throw out the occasional date, turned in my ribbon shirt, my 4-strand bone choker, and my beaded belt buckle for a cheap but serviceable suit and a nice tie, and arrived at the next confrontation, virtually indistinguishable from the boys from Washington. At the end of that presentation, which I thought went rather well, a young native man about my age, dressed in a ribbon shirt, bone choker, and beaded belt buckle, the very markers of race that I had so casually abandoned, stood up and asked me what the hell an apple was doing speaking for real Indians. For those of you who do not know what an apple is, it's a derogatory term for an Indian who's red on the outside and white on the inside. An Uncle Tomahawk, if you will. In the 1960s and 1970s, it was the worst insult you could hurl at another Indian. Needless to say, I was hurt. But worse, there was that rhetorical question again. As long as I dressed like an Indian and complained like an Indian, I was entertainment. But if I dressed like a non-Indian and reasoned like a non-Indian, then not only was I not entertainment, I wasn't an Indian. Stay with me on this. Therefore, if I dressed like an Indian and acted like an Indian, and here it would be helpful if you've seen the witch skit in Monty Python and the Holy Grail, I must be entertainment. Most of you are probably waiting for the sting, where I turn this conceit back on itself and say something profound, or at least clever. But as it turns out, I have nowhere to go. What am I? Entertainment. Actually, as it turns out, it's not just me, it's Indians in general. Somewhere along the way, we ceased being people, and somehow became performers in an Aboriginal minstrel show for white North America. But we didn't begin that way. We haven't always been entertainment. Once upon a time, we were other things. Thank you.
His book is The Truth About Stories by Thomas King, and our celebrity reader for that is Gary Bois, the Provost and Vice President Academic. Please welcome Gary.
Hear me in the back?
So now we're seeing.
Yep.
Well, can you hear me in the back? Yeah? Okay. Before I start reading two excerpts from Thomas King's The Truth About Stories, I'd just like to acknowledge the people and the territory that we're on. As a non-Aboriginal reader, I think it's important that we do that. The first excerpt is called Let Me Entertain You. There's a story I know. It's about the Earth and how it floats in space on the back of a turtle. I've heard this story many times, and each time someone tells the story, it changes. Sometimes it changes simply in the voice of the storyteller. Sometimes it changes in the details, and sometimes in the order of events. Other times it's the dialogue or the response of the audience. But in all the tellings of the tellers, the world never leaves the turtle's back, and the turtle never swims away. One time, it was in Peterborough, I think, an older woman in the audience asked about the turtle and the Earth. If the Earth was on the back of a turtle, what was below the turtle? Another turtle, the storyteller told her. And below that turtle, another turtle. And below that, another turtle. The woman began to smile, enjoying the game, I imagine. So how many turtles are there? She wanted to know. The storyteller shrugged. No one knows for certain, he told her, but it's turtles all the way down. The truth about stories is that that's all we are. The second excerpt is from further along. and this part is about the author's speaking engagements on college and university campuses. As I wandered from campus to campus, I became, God help me, a spokesperson. Special, tonight only, return of the complaining native. Hear it from a real Indian. White depredations, Indian deprivations. You'll laugh, you'll cry. Wine and cheese reception to follow. Entertainment. Probably not as much fun as being tossed around, say, on a mechanical bull or watching a good hockey fight on Friday night, but several steps up from bowling.